None. 9 months. You could have a baby in the time that it takes for us from the final pitch to the first pitch of the following season. But, when these players got off the bus yesterday, there was a different aura about them. It's almost like they knew what they were walking into. Some of the teams in previous years, I think, looked like a little bit almost like deers in headlights. Whereas this year, they have the swagger about them. They know that they're the three-time defending champions, and I like the look of the team.
It's funny because we were looking through the roster. The oldest player on the roster was born in '89.
I know. There's some players on our team that have no idea that the Blue Jays had won 2 World Series in their lifetime. So I guess that's starting to make us feel old, but at the same time, it's good to see this youthful infusion.
What changes from last year to this year? I see we had a chance to talk to John Schneider earlier on about what he's expecting, and of course I know the Jays are expecting a lot from him too.
Well, he's the big change, if you ask me. He was here in 2011 and actually got us off to the fastest start in franchise history before he had to leave for personal matters. So it'll be really cool to see John here for a whole season. Some of the players that we had last year, David Harris struggled a little bit in 2013. He looks fantastic this season. Brennan Kalfas was an all-star last year in the Northwest League. He's back. But everybody's talking about the starting pitching. Everybody says that from Alberto Tirado to 6 foot, who's our 6'7" pitcher? My mind's eluding me here. Miguel Castro is our 6'7" pitcher. I'm very intrigued to see what a 99-mile-an-hour fastball looks like.
Yeah, especially coming at that arm, especially if he's got overhand versus sidearm.
Well, yeah, he's straight from the top. So he's 6'7". He's got the reach of an albatross, and then all of a sudden he's throwing 99 miles an hour. I mean, that's a combination for some pretty nervous hitters in the Northwest League. But more than anything, you've heard the hype. You want to physically see it for yourself. So I know that he'll be pitching here, probably our second homestand. He'll unfortunately miss the first go around, but by the time that we get back for that 6-game homestand over Canada Day, everybody will get their first look at him.
We were talking earlier on about the success level, not just winning the championship trophy. Some of the players you put through, Stroman for one, man, oh man, he's really starting to turn it on for the Jays.
You know what's funny about Marcus Stroman is when he came here, 5'9", drafted in the first round, there were the detractors, or everybody thought that he looked like Tom Gordon, a former closer for Kansas City, and the rumblings were that they were going to try and make him a starter, and I think there were detractors out there because they looked at the body type, they looked at the fact that he was, a guy that had closed at university, closed for Team USA, and then all of a sudden the Blue Jays wanted him to start. But I mean, you look at his starts that he's had in the major leagues, a handful now, and he's been fantastic, one of the best sliders in the league, and a guy that we really market now because not only has he gone from Vancouver to the major leagues, but he's effective up there as well.
Tom Robson not here right now. Is you expecting him, or are you expecting him to stay up?
Tom's dealing with some injuries. Of course, in baseball, much like hockey, they just say upper body, lower body, so I really can't specify, and I'm saying that honestly. The one thing that I would say is we'd welcome him back, obviously, with open arms, but at the same time, I mean, he's proven that he can compete at this level, and I think it'd be nice for him, once he gets healthy, to work his way up towards, long A or maybe even double A.
Talking about Tom, a young Canadian boy, let's talk about the young boys that Canada has put through the system. We've had a good run for putting our boys in the system.
It's been fantastic. I mean, not just here in Vancouver with Rich Harden and Jeff Francis and Jason Bay. I mean, I'm talking about British Columbia, but I mean, you look at 4 or 5 different provinces now that are really pumping out talent, and there's a whole next wave coming, and I think you can attribute the success that we're enjoying now to the guys from 10 years ago, the Ryan Dempsters, the Adam Lowens of the world, and Jeff Francis, a good Delta guy. So, am I proud of it? Absolutely. As a Canadian, I don't think you can't be. But gone are the days where a Blue Jay prospect like Rob Ducey or Rich Butler is an anomaly. Now it's expected for them to succeed. And Justin Morneau's an MVP of a league. And I think there's a lot we can be proud of.
Does that say a lot for the programs in the province or in Canada in general about the volunteers that help, the coaches, the people in charge of the whole program?
Absolutely. BC Minor Baseball had a clinic this off season. I think it was out in the Burbs, White Rock or Delta, and Delta Burbs for me. Sorry, I forgot where I'm on. And there was 350 coaches at this thing, and they came from all across the province. And I think what blew me away was just how intricate that seminar was. I mean, they're talking about everything from to how to be a better umpire to how you approach kids about your arm slot and making sure that you don't get injuries. And you think to yourself, boy, here's these guys volunteering their time, doing this because they love the game, and taking this kind of knowledge back to the players. It's no surprise that we're having great success.
And Ray Carter, the one that really masterminds the whole program, he really puts it on the map.
Ray Carter is much more than a figurehead for Baseball Canada, and I hope people understand that, because what he does to make sure that every wheel's oiled and everybody's doing what they need to do to continue to cultivate the game is something that I really think almost goes underappreciated. I mean, he's got the fancy title, he works for Baseball Canada, but people don't realize that he's hanging out at these minor baseball tournaments and he's doing all the things behind the scenes to make it happen. So Ray Carter is the straw that stirs the drink, and I'm thrilled that he's associated with the Canadians and that the Blue Jays have really taken Baseball Canada as their own.
The event you were talking about was down in Langley at the Langley Event Center. You were you had the luxury of being the master of ceremonies for it.
Yeah.
Besides being the MC for that event, congratulations on the award they give you. Were you surprised?
I was really surprised. I was actually in my wrap-up speech to say, make sure if you've had too much to drink that we can get you home. And then all of a sudden they said they had one more award, and it was a meritorious award. And only 2 guys have ever won that before, Ray Carter and Bob Elliott. So I don't think I've had time to slow down in my career to see where I'm at, but it was really nice at that moment for somebody to say, hey, we appreciate the job that you're doing, because usually I'm the guy trying to push other people into the spotlight. It was almost embarrassing to get something on my own, but at the same time I went home that night, and I was really proud.
It was funny, I was talking to Ray the next day, and Ray said, that's the first time I've seen Rob speechless.
Well, I didn't know what to do, because as a master of ceremonies, you're looking to make sure that you hit your marks, you're getting off at the right time, and then something went not as scripted, and it threw me for a loop, because I'm all about, crossing my T's, dotting my I's, and all of a sudden something wasn't going right. So I probably looked like the angriest award recipient ever, just because I didn't know what the heck was going on. But when everything had finally settled down, Mike Kelly, all those guys at BC Minor Baseball, I was beyond, I was thrilled.
Lastly, the one thing we can really give the Canadians a lot of credit for is your marketing program here is exceptional. You've got the fireworks night, you have constant sellouts on a regular basis. Why so successful?
I'm going to use a weird analogy here. I think it's kind of like wrestling. When wrestling finally said that they weren't a sport and they were actually just entertainment and it was all scripted, people finally started to buy in, and then all of a sudden their stock went high. When we stopped trying to compete against the other teams and say that our payroll is bigger than the BC Lions, when we just told them, hey man, we're a summertime venue, it's all about the the entertainment value and all this kind of stuff, I think people are like, cool, now you're not trying to be something that you're not. You appreciate the honesty, and I think that's what Jake Kerr and Jeff Mooney and Andy Dunn really did, is they just came out here and they said, hey, here's what we're trying to do. We want to make sure that you have parking, we want to make sure our bathroom's clean, our food's hot, and that you enjoy the entertainment on the field. It's a pretty simple recipe, but at the end of the day, you had to come out and be honest about what you were and what you weren't, and I think honesty was kind of the best policy in this instance.
Yeah, and of course, lastly, you've got it for the families. It's a family affair. They can come out. You don't have to worry about people in the stands getting drunk and rowdy and throwing around. Security is impressive, and that's the one thing I hear all the time is it's a family sport, and they just love coming out here, especially the Nooners.
Our philosophy is if we can bring the mom out, chances are we'll get the family out. And the reality is in this industry, it's all about entertainment and making sure that you feel safe in the environment that you're in. I mean, it's a 5,000 seat stadium, and it's been known in years past as a place where things get a little rowdy, but that was issue number one, that when the new ownership came in, they said we want to make sure that we clean this place up. It's all about the family-friendly environment, and Section 10 gets a little chaotic at times, as it's supposed to, but for the rest of the stadium, I think we take a lot of pride in making sure that a family feels good about coming out to the ballpark.
It's funny you say, well, if we can get mom out here. It was interesting. We had a chance to talk to John earlier on, the skipper, and John was saying, I said, who was the one that helped you out? He said, Mom. He said, she was the one that I played catch with. He said, so she was really instrumental in helping me.
I've actually met John Schneider's mom. Kath is a fantastic woman. They come out here 2 or 3 times a year, and she's involved in what a lot of people don't realize is John Schneider's got a brother who actually had one of the players from his high school team get drafted in the 5th round this year by the Red Sox. So it's all in the family. The parents listen to every game. If I say something wrong or I'm a little tough on John, they'll be the first to call me or email me, and they'll be like, you're a little tough on John. But me and John have a fantastic friendship. He was a guy in my wedding party when I got married a couple of months ago, and the fact that he's back is unbelievable. But more than that, I just think that he'll bring that energy both from his family and from his mom and everybody out here to Nat Bailey Stadium, and it'll make our team much better for it.
Robbie, thanks for doing this. Good luck in the season, and we won't want to put too much pressure on you, but number 4 would really be nice.
Nah, number 4 wouldn't be bad. All right, thanks for doing it, Steve.